Good morning, Solaris 7. Calgary Battletech brings you Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Jacque. Good morning, good afternoon, or good early evening, everyone. I hope you've been having a better start to the new year. We're into playoffs and have our first round eliminations done. There were some surprise upsets. Cough, Lee, cough. But overall, it's been super exciting. And round 2 looks to be just as good.
We're just a few days in, and already this year seems better than the last. I'm really excited about going down this road with all of you and starting the end of Season 1 and moving into Season 2. We still see some more voting going on as to when that's going to start, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that rolls out too.
And with a little surprise for Game 1, or Capellan fuckery, whichever you want to call it, A Division had to find out that all the matches were played on the same arena, the very original arena map, with the little lake in the middle doubled over that. And with that, boys and girls, hi-ho, it's off to round 2 we go.
All right, let's take a minute and take a look at how some of those Game 1s played out. Our first match, the Executive Outcome, faced off against the Cavalier Commandos. This ends up as a 2-0 Executive Outcome victory.
This one played out pretty much as we suspected. Cavalier Commandos are a fantastic defensive team, but to get into the round 2 of the A side, you're going to have to be a little more aggressive.
Now, I don't want to hear it. I called the Cavalier Commandos to win, but hey, you know what? Coming back out of semi-retirement for this team to make it as far as they did, I give them props. They did an awesome job this season. It was great to see them out again. One of the old league veteran players back. But, yeah, they just couldn't come up against the Executive Outcome. It was a good game, but you two, you be quiet. Nothing. I don't want to hear it. Zip it.
Jacque, I'm almost positive you didn't get anything right this week.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time, especially if you talk to my ex.
Moving on, our game number 2, we see Riston's Rogues face off against the First Clovis Lancers and take them down hard for a 4-1 overall finish.
Oh man, it was a massacre. It was like Riston's Rogues dropped some serious C-bills as they were getting all the heads from the Lancers. It was brutal. Targeting down mechs, kicking their heads off. It was ugly.
It was good to see another rookie team make it to the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, maybe Div 1 wasn't the greatest move for them when they come up against the wall that was the Riston's Rogues. I mean, this was just ugly.
Either way, both players walked away from the table having a good time and laughing and joking about things. Our third match in A Division is the Battle of the Spouses' Houses. Merrick Marauder take it to the Blitzkrieg Jezebels here in a 4-1 win after just laying a beating down.
And this is why we've invested in comfy couches. Beating my wife to get into round 2 is definitely worth the night on the living room couch. And to be honest, the game went well. It was a real quick turnaround once I put about 60 points of damage into the right torso of her Devastator. It started to look like things were going to go poorly for her, but she played it right out to the end. It was a good game.
Well, this is what you get when you play the wife. Even if you win, you still lose. Again, I'm surprised she let you have the couch and didn't toss your butt out into the garage like, the dog you are.
Have you seen his dogs? They all add up to about the size of one. Game number 4, 55th Shadow Division, comes down from Edmonton to play off against the Ghost Legion. This was a fantastic game where the outcome was almost a coin toss. Congratulations to the Northern Invaders on moving on to the next round.
I believe this turned out to be a 4-2, did it not, Brett?
It absolutely did.
Yeah, and to be honest, everything I heard right up until a sudden turnaround, you had the game in hand. You were beating the 55th Shadow Division. Your game plan was working, and then all of a sudden a bunch of head kills happened, I believe. That was pretty ugly.
Yeah, I took out the shootist, and it was all going downhill, and then all of a sudden lost my gunslinger to a headshot, and just couldn't keep up the momentum.
Oh, the Wobbies continue their rampage. Oh, this is getting really interesting as to see what's going to be the final come up in a few weeks. Another one of the Calgary teams and an admin team goes down in flames. Will the tradition continue with the Marauders as well? We shall see.
Second Division shows us some exciting movers and shakers as well. Clan Cobra Chickens show up to beat some Red Sun Irregulars in a 2-0 victory, moving forward onto round 2. That's right, Clan Cobra Chickens snake out a win and move forward into round 2.
Yeah, I knew the Clan Cobra Chicken had it in them. They're completely capable. Jacque might disagree with me. Look at him, he's a dog. What the hell does he know?
Doctors, I've said before, these guys are done. If these guys would have played this good earlier in the season, they'd be on A-side finals. Not on the B-side, they'd be on the A-side. This was paid actors. This was either a second string that the stable management had hiding somewhere, but these were not the normal pilots for these mechs. Man, this team should just get back on the dropship, go back over to what godforsaking ass-end system in the periphery they came from, and just end the suffering of everybody.
Now, that being said, the wins the Clan Cobra Chickens have pulled out this season were like 2-0 victories. Our next game for Division 2, Carstairs Stables move forward, Shitehawk Stables being unable to shake the seasonal sickness.
This could have been a really fun match to watch. And it's always really disappointing to see a game get called due to scheduling. And it's very sad when it's in the playoffs as well. Though, better luck next year for the Shitehawks, and hopefully we see a little bit less of this next season when players are able to not have to worry quite so much about all the seasonal diseases. And
yeah, it's really bad to see when a game has to be awarded a win because of scheduling conflicts or team being off the field due to illness or whatnot. But Shitehawks made a good showing of it this season. Hope to see them set again next season. Carstairs Stables move on. The beefy boys keep marching on. Hurrah, hurrah.
Our next game was the Killer Bunnies. They show up, hippity hop, and lay down a thumping on the Macro Stables in a 2-1 victory.
I would love to say this was just rabbit's foot luck. The Killer Bunnies are definitely a solid team. They played well. They beat the Macross Stables. Good on you. I think I called this last week, raising my numbers up a little bit. I'm looking forward to this upcoming weekend when we're going to see a huge clash ahead of them.
Oh, Bunnies be bouncing up the standings and looking for that overall runner-up title. I think it's going to be interesting to see if this team can go all the way. I mean, it's got the chops, it's got the stamina. It's whether or not their luck can hold out, is going to say. See how they come up against them in their next fight, which is going to be interesting.
And in our last match this round for Division 2, we see the Crimson Ronin, the offspring of Ghost Legion and the Killer Bunnies, face off against the Einherjar in a battle that was right down to the wire. We see a Hunchback destroy a Vulcan, and then the combined fire of the other mechs kill the Hunchy in return. 1-1 final score.
Yep, 1-1 final score, but as we said last week, there's no ties. Nothing was crippled. Nothing had anything to give indication of who won, who lost in that 1-1 tie. We end up literally having to count pips of damage to determine who the winner was.
Youngest member of the league going on to round 2. This is going to be another interesting player and stable to watch. 1-1 tie. It's really sad to see the Einherjar get knocked out on the TKO. Well, that's how it plays in the playoffs. Maybe they'll be back next season. Well, maybe with a different team, different faction, different management. It was good to see them do their run as they did, and good on the Crimson Ronin for making it as far as they have to.
All right, that'll take us into the awards for this week. Jacque, take it away.
Oh, there were some ugly ones this season, and some that this week and some that haven't been awarded yet. First one off, Goomba Stop. 55th Shadow Division lays a curb stomping on the Ghost Legion Wolverine. Blasting it, Wolverine hits the ground, And then the Shadow Division stomps the center torso to dust. Like, hello, you are now the space between the cigarette butt and the floor. Okay, our second one is it's good. But you know what? It's actually really, really bad. After having not the Lancer's Devastator unconscious, the rogues take a turn to specifically target the head to make sure that it is dead. Like, specifically target the head. That's just cold-blooded. That's just, ew.
This week, we have one of our other rookie members being grilled by Lee. Let's hear what Matt from the First Clovis Lancers had to say.
In tonight's interview for Uncivil Discourse, I've invited Matt, the commanding officer of the 1st Clovis Lancers, to come join us for our number 1 recording during the playoffs. It's always good to have some of the league rookies on, so you can tell us a little bit about how your experience went, and you can also inform our listeners as to what a unbiased opinion of the league is at this point.
Thank you for having me.
Matter of fact, that leads us into our very first question. Being one of our rookie players this season, was League up to what you expected or hoped for?
Absolutely, I think it was. Coming into it, I had no expectations other than to have fun and learn. And the league has been super welcoming, and everybody's been helpful to help me learn the rules, and especially some of the finer points and special rules for league.
Yeah, the league rules can be quite daunting with people who haven't gotten quite comfortable with the actual core rules. We don't have a ton of league rules at this point, but just even things like floating criticals, that can be daunting for someone who's never used it before.
Yeah, and understanding the skills. Some of those can take a little bit of rereading.
Yeah, we're going to be trying to do some stuff between seasons to help clear some of that up. We have some interesting content we're going to be adding to the YouTube channel to try to educate people on what the league is supposed to look like, what a match is supposed to look like, and how the rules break down and how they're supposed to be applied. One of the more interesting things to note about Matt's team is that he is one of 2 factions that actually have a named pilot. Cat is the named pilot in Matt's unit, piloting his rifleman. The other one is actually in my lance, the Merrick's Marauders, with Richard on legs for my stalker pilot. And in your lance, it was named by other players that it was Cat because your rifleman was next to possible to kill, and they seem to have a little bit of fear for that 9-lived rifleman. Why do you think it was so feared, and are you planning on keeping Cat around from season to season?
Well, to address the first part of the question there, I think the fear goes into the fact that in regular season play, Cat only died twice out of 8 games. So that's a 25% death, given a rifleman is notoriously known for dying inexplicable, horrible deaths. To survive that well, and in the words of several opponents, just refuse to die. I think that luck and dice rolls had a part to play in the Legend of Cat.
When I got to play against you, it was quite interesting because I had a lot more fear for that mech than I probably should have, and it got a lot of attention. Though partially it was because with weak armor, it seemed like a bit of an easier kill. If you hadn't shut it down about 3/4 of the way through the match from overheating, I'm not sure I actually could have killed it. It was actually really survivable.
Yeah, surprisingly, luck ends up working out that way. And as for the second part of your question, well, I can't reveal yet what my lance may look out for next season. Let's just say Cat may be on an extended contract.
And speaking of this season, though, do you have any cherished moments from the league so far? Anything you learned this season that you might carry over into any games that you play either in league or outside of league?
Really, everything in league has been, a cherished and kind of learning moment for me. Being a new player, especially the more senior players within the league, like yourself, like Steven, taking the time to actually point things out to me mid-game. Well, here's something you did wrong, but maybe next time you could consider doing it like this. nobody's afraid of giving out pointers to a newbie and making us hopefully make smarter decisions in the future.
Yeah, the old leaguers or old-time leaguers, long-time leaguers, we really do want to encourage people to learn and play more, not just because we want to have competition so that we have someone to play against. It's also so you can carry it over to other people and spread the love of the game to other people. There's a really weird hate-love relationship with Battletech. Either people think it's the greatest thing that was ever created, or they're constantly trying to change it into something that is just, air quotes here, better. I'm really glad that you're enjoying what you've gone through with League so far. Now, you were unfortunately knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. However, you do get to play 2 more games during the playoff season against someone you haven't played for yet in League. Who's your next target? Who do you really want to play against? Is there anyone that you want to take a run at before the end of the season?
I think officially my next target is Brett. I believe he is my next opponent, and I believe some of the trash talking has already happened here on the Discord channel. But as for anybody I'd want to take a swipe at, honestly, if he got potentially knocked out of the playoffs, though that seems to be doubtful, JP I wouldn't mind facing against, as well as if she didn't have to bow out, Mackenzie would have been a good player as well.
Yeah, I really was hoping to get a game against Mackenzie, but unfortunately the league schedule was random. So unfortunately I didn't get a chance to play against her.
Yeah, exactly. And, being 2 elite teams, it might seem like a head scratcher being a newbie trying to take on, some of the cream of the crop. But I think I've said this to you before, but, especially as a newbie, you can really learn a lot more from losing to an experienced player than you potentially can to winning against one.
Very true, I agree. Losing is always a good learning medium because you can go back and go, what did I do wrong? Or what could I have done differently? Now you know not to fire both ERPPCs and both large lasers in the same turn.
Well, maybe I just need to see in the dark.
Well, I could because you were glowing quite brightly. As I ask everyone at the end of the interview, do you have any comments for the current players? And for people you might be facing off against next year?
All I can say is some of you have seen my playstyle, some of you haven't. It's going to be constantly evolving, but if you worry about the Lancers, just be careful because you might just end up getting a Lance.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. It's been a pleasure interviewing you for the podcast, and I look forward to seeing you next Sunday when we do round 2.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
This leads us into the round 2 playoff matches. Starting off with game number 1, the first place 55th Shadow Division, 8 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties, 31 kills for, 11 against, up against the 5th place Executive Outcomes, 7 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie, with 19 kills and 11 deaths. The top-ranked 55th Shadow Division come flying down from the QE2 to face the 5th-ranked Executive Outcomes in what should be an absolute banger of a game. This game looks to be an absolute bloodbath as these teams combined to destroy 49 mechs in 17 games. Additionally, the 2 teams combined to only lose 21 mechs. The 55th Shadow Division and the Executive Outcomes face 4 common opponents between the regular season and the playoffs: the Einhajar, the Ghost Legion, Clan Cobra Chickens, and the Killer Bunnies. The 55th Shadow Division posted a 3 wins, 1 loss, 0 ties record against these teams, racking up 11 kills at the cost of only 6 mechs, with the loss coming at the paws of the Killer Bunnies. The Executive Outcomes posted a 2 win, 1 loss, 1 tie record with 8 kills, 4 and 7 against them, losing to the Einhajar and tying with the Ghost Legion.
These 2 teams represent the only A-side teams not to lose a game against another team in that top bracket. Executive Outcomes have posted a 2-0-1 record played in matches against the Cavalier Commandos, Ghost Legion, and Riston's Rogues. They scored 6 takedowns while only losing 3 of their own. Meanwhile, in 3 games against the Ghost Legion, First Clovis Lancers, and Merrick's Marauders, the Wobbies of the 55th Shadow Division posted a 3-0-0 mark and scored perfect 500, 12 kills while suffering 6 mechs destroyed.
The executive outcome are anchored by a frightening Banshee 3S, a mech so potent that 3 of the last 4 teams in the A-side playoffs feature one of these. Outfitted with an upgraded endo steel and a personal vendetta against a chosen opponent, this mech is 95 tons of trouble, capable of dishing out 30 points of damage to 15 hexes range, and simply getting nastier as you close. It has a standard engine with an additional pair of medium lasers. This mech is a zombie that simply will not die. Conversely, despite the presence of a nearly identical Banshee, which has wrought havoc for the 55th Shadow Division, the mech to watch on their side is the Cicada. The fastest mech in the league at a blistering 8-12-8, the Cicada is also packing heat with an upgrade to a devastating clan ERPPC. This thing throws 15 points in your rear as much as it wants to. Unsurprisingly, this has become the pilot's favorite weapon. While lacking raw power of the Banshee, the Cicada has tormented the opposition all season long, coming up as a clutch player in numerous matches, including headshotting the first Clovis Lancer's Devastator, as well as probably what changed the whole game, the Ghost Legion's Gunslinger. As they beat me out, I'm expecting the 55th Shadow Division to uphold the honor and beat the executive outcome as well. This should be a 3-2 finish, playing right down to the line as time clicks out.
To be honest, I don't want to face either of these teams if I do make it to the finals. But I got to make some kind of a prediction here. I'm going to go with the executive outcomes. This is a last-second change of mind. Originally, I was thinking the Wobbs would take it, but I think JP's experience in playoffs and dealing with that kind of pressure will do him well. But I agree, it's going to be a 3-2 finish just for the other team, Brett.
Why are you so worried about facing either one of these teams? Like, you shouldn't even be in the playoffs. You know what? I know you guys are going to mock me because I haven't been able to get some really good predictions. But, you know, the Wobbies are going to rampage. I'm sorry. I got to give it to the Wobbies. They've been rampaging through the league ever since game 1, with the exception of a hiccup. I'm going to say these guys are going to take it. This one, though, is going to be another TKO. It's going to be another technical decision. It's going to come down to damage dealt. It's going to be 2-2, 3-3 tie by the end of time, but it's going to have to go to the judges for the decision.
Game number 2, we have the second place Merrick's Marauders with 7 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. 28 kills for and 14 against. Up against the third-ranked Riston's Rogues, 7 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss, with 19 kills for, with only 9 kills against.
This one is the marquee matchup this week. You have a pair of league elite. This matchup showcases 2 contrasting styles. We have Riston's Rogues with their brick wall defense clashing against the missiles and PPCs of the Merrick's Marauders offense. Both these teams have an amazing kills for versus kills against. Merrick's Marauders and Riston's Rogues have combined to down 47 mechs in 18 games while only losing 23. Marauders and the Rogues have faced 3 common opponents during the regular season: the Ghost Legion, First Clovis Lancers, and the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. Merrick's Marauders went 3-0-1 against these opponents, 2 games against the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, one of them being a tie, scoring 14 kills for and 5 against. Riston's Rogues was the perfect 3-0-0 against these opponents, scoring 11 takedowns and only 3 loss. So the amount of skill between these 2 stables is just amazing. This one is going to come down to whoever Lady Luck favors.
Both teams contested a plethora of matches against A-side competition. Riston Rogues played 5 games against other A-side teams, earning a 4-win, 1 loss, 0 tie record by defeating the Ghost Legion, Blitzkrieg Jezebels, Hubris Inc., and First Clovis Lancers, with their only loss coming at the hands of the executive outcome. During this phenomenal stretch of play, the Rogues destroyed 15 mechs while only losing 7 in return. Conversely, Merrick Marauders showcased a 4-win, 1 loss, 1 tie record, defeating the Cavalier Commandos, First Clovis Lancers, Ghost Legion, and the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. The Marauders did tie the Jezebels in their Week 1 matchup during regular season and suffered their lone loss at the hands of the loathsome 55th Shadow Division during this 6-game stretch. Merrick's boys inflicted 15 kills and took 12 casualties in return.
In a league where 3 of the top teams are playing Banshees 3Ss, Riston Rogue's Banshees version, without a doubt, the most terrifying. Upgraded with double heat sinks, Pathfinder, and gunnery, this mech now sports maximized armor, case, and a real nasty disposition. It's very arguably the single most terrifying mech in League, rivaling the Devastator's 2Ss in firepower while eclipsing them in survivability. Riston's Banshee represents the anvil upon which the rest of his lance hammers his opponents into victory.
Merrick's Marauders, when they step up, function more like a multi-headed Hydra than a single, focused, overwhelming mech, with any of their archers, awesome, or stalker more than capable of stepping up and handing out a pivotal role by dishing a bunch of damage. However, the Merrick Marauder Stalker is a multi-role monster that ties the whole unit together. Upgraded with a clan ER large in the center torso and forest fire, the Stalker is formidable at all ranges and serves to protect the more vulnerable archer and awesome.
Now, statistically speaking, Merrick's Marauders are the offensive juggernaut, although prowess did come the expense at giving up a few extra kills. Meanwhile, the Rogues showcased elite defense occasionally at the cost of their offensive numbers. Both teams have had phenomenal seasons, and this will be a terrific contest between 2 hungry stables. Also worth noting, for the 3rd week in a row, the Merrick's Marauders confront a stable they have never defeated. Their record in those last 2 games, 2-0, can Riston's Rogue continue their defensive dominance, or will Marauders pull off another victory?
I've been voting for the Riston Rogues to win all season, other than 2 where one I had to vote against them, and the second one I had to back family. It's going to be tough, and I have to vote for myself, and I'm going to go with a 4-3 victory for myself. It's going to be a chewed up, ugly mess, but in the end, I'm gonna get a couple of really good lucky shots and take down some of this heavy offense.
Do I be nice or don't I? No, I'm not going to be nice. Merrick's Marauders are going down. Sorry about that. And it ain't going to be a technical knockout. It's going to be a dominating 3-1 stomping. Your luck has come to an end, Lee.
Before playoffs started, my money was on Riston's Rogues all the way. Your wife is going to be super happy to hear this, Lee, because you're going down. With a 4-1 final score, the Rogues will move into the finals.
Overall, there are plenty of intriguing storylines with 3 games remaining in the A-side schedule. There are 4 possible final scenarios. 2 rematches are actually potential. The Executive Outcomes versus the Riston Rogues, and the 55th Shadow Division versus Merrick's Marauders. Respectively, as well, there are 2 fresh possible matchups where the Riston's Rogues face off against the 55th Shadow Division, or Merrick's Marauders up against the Executive Outcome. No matter the matchup, it's going to be a finish that you don't want to miss. You gotta see it. You don't want to hear us tell you how it ends. You want to show up. Now this will take us into Division 2 matches. Game number 3, we have the 11th place Carstairs Stable. 4 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. With 10 kills to their name and 17 kills against them. They're playing up against the 10th place Clan Cobra Chickens, 4 wins, 4 losses, 1 tie, with a even 16 kills for and 16 kills against. This is going to be potentially a game that overshadows the A-side. The Carstairs Stables ride into town looking for a holiday feast out of some Clan Cobra Chickens. This is an intriguing matchup of a young up-and-comer stable against a grizzled old veteran force. Carstairs Stables represents one of the 2 rookie teams still remaining in the Calgary Battletech League playoffs. Meanwhile, the Clan Cobra Chickens have seen more wars than Carstairs Stables has seen years. Can old age and treachery overcome youthful exuberance and skill? Well, we'll have to see. Both of these teams faced challenging schedules, And their combined 26 kills and 33 kills against in 17 games reflects this. It was not an easy road here for them. The Cobra Chickens and Carstairs stables faced 4 common opponents in the regular season: the dreaded 55th Shadow Division, the Killer Bunnies, the Crimson Ronin, and the 1st Clovis Lancers. The Carstairs stables fared slightly better, going 2 wins with only 2 losses, but no ties, with the usual pair of losses coming at the hands of the 55th Shadow Division and the 1st Clovis Lancers. No big surprise. Overall, against these opponents, Carstairs stables tallied 5 kills for, but lost 10 mechs themselves, so it was obvious why they lost some of those matches. Clan Cobra Chicken, meanwhile, secured a 1 win, 3 losses, and 0 ties records against the same teams, with losses suffered to the 55th Shadow Division, the 1st Clovis Lancers, and the Crimson Ronin, earning 5 kills for and having 9 mechs destroyed.
Both teams struggled against A-side competition during the regular season, with Carstairs Stables' inexperience showing with a 0 win, 4 loss, 0 tie record, and the Clan Cobra Chickens securing a 1 win, 3 loss, 1 tie record. Cobra Chickens faced the 55th Shadow Division, 1st Clovis Lancers, Cavalier Commandos, Blitzkrieg Jezebels, and Executive Outcome. The Chickens were able to defeat the Cavalier Commandos and tie the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. And in their 5-match contests, they earned 8 kills while losing 13 casualties. Carstairs Stables, however, fell to all their A-side opponents and manufactured 8 kills while losing 13 of their own. However, against B-side competition, both teams excel, earning a combined 6 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie record, killing 14 opponents and only having lost 6 of their own mechs.
If the ASOD playoffs are beset by a bevy of banshees, holy alliteration, Batman, then the mechs to watch in this bout can best be described as a contest of asymmetrically awesome assaults. Oh my god, who writes this? Who let the interns out of the pool again? The Clan Cobra Chicken's Awesome 8Q is a beast. It has been among the most deadly mechs in the league in terms of number of headshot kills it has generated. Unsurprisingly, the pilot likes the PPC, probably why they're driving this walking pillbox. And because of it, it's given itself an air of danger. Not a lot of mechs are going to want to get close to this guy. This is a brutal beast. It's unapproachable by any mechs under its 85-ton weight or lacking any form of physical combat skill. This combination leads to accurate fire and helps mitigate the Awesome's minimum range issues. This thing is a beast. If there was an award for most scary mech in the league, this would win it hands down.
Conversely, the Carstairs Awesome 8Q has been taken a completely different route. While also benefiting from the ubiquitous favorite weapon PPC, this mech has been engineered to have double heat sinks, jump jets, and a 4th PPC. This totally new breed of awesome possesses increased mobility and firepower at the cost of a slight reduction in armor. While the Carstairs Stables Awesome has not been as prolific in creating cranial cavities, I agree, Jacque, somebody pulled out the thesaurus when they wrote this. It has been a rock-solid foundation on which Carstairs Stables victories have been built.
Statistically, the Clan Cobra Chickens enjoy a significant advantage in kills scored, but both teams remain very close for the number of mechs lost. Carstairs Stables had a penchant for winning close games while coming out on the wrong side of blowout losses. On the other hand, Clan Cobra Chickens were less predictable and won and lost by fluctuating margins or who was drinking more that day. Two teams, picked up by the pundits of B-side contenders, clash in this matchup, and it certainly will be one to watch.
We all know what Jacques' going to say. The CCC are done. Stick a fork in them, they're toast. And just like the rest of the listeners, I know it to be complete and total BS. It's unadulterated propaganda to snowball everyone into believing that the Cobra Chickens are a lesser stable with questionable sexual habits. And to steal a phrase from our multicolorful correspondent, well, that being said, the CCC has the skill and knowledge to take out A-side teams. They just didn't have the luck that they needed to put them into the A-side playoffs. This game is going to be a win for the CCC, The Clan Cobra Chickens, keep the name on your lips, and it'll be a 4-2 margin win.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Serve me up some of that white meat, please. This one's going down 4-2 Carstairs victory. The boys from Carstairs, they're all the way. They just missed it. They're hungry for it, and they are going to stomp on that long neck of the Clan Cobra Chickens.
Questionable sexual habits? Try no sexual habits. These guys couldn't hit the... Oh, they're done. Cobra Chicken going down. They're going to lose 3-zip. Done.
See? Told you.
I didn't hear paid actors. I'm so surprised.
Moving on to game number 4, we have the 13th place Killer Bunnies with 4 wins, 5 losses, and 0 ties, 11 kills for with 13 against. They're up against the 14th place Crimson Ronin, who have 3 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties, 8 kills for, 10 against. For the second time in the 2 weeks of playoffs, we're going to settle a familiar score in the Calgary Battletech League, as the Killer Bunnies face off against the Crimson Ronin, mother against son, league veteran against a fresh-faced newcomer, and this matchup also promises to be an excellent fight. Both the Crimson Ronin and the Killer Bunnies favor a tight defensive style of play, as the stables combined to score 19 kills in 18 games while suffering only 23 lost mechs. The teams played 5 games against the same enemies throughout the league season, and in these common contests up against the 55th Shadow Division, the Red Sun Regulars, Merrick's Marauders, Clan Cobra Chickens, and Carstairs Stables, both teams achieved a 2-win, 3-loss, 0-tie record. The Killer Bunnies were defeated by the Merrick's Marauders, the Clan Cobra Chickens, and the Carstairs Stables while recording 7 kills and 9 lost mechs in those matchups. Meanwhile, the Crimson Ronin were defeated by the 55th Shadow Division, Merrick's Marauders, and the Carstairs Stables, while recording 6 destroyed mechs and only losing 7.
Against A-side competition, both the Killer Bunnies and the Crimson Ronin posted pedestrian records, with a total of 1 win, 6 losses, and 1 tie. The Crimson Ronin went 0 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie, competing against 55th Shadow, Merrick Marauders, Cavalier Commandos, and the 1st Clovis Lancers, salvaging a 1-1 tie against the Lancers. Overall, in these key matchups, the Crimson Ronin earned 3 kills while suffering 7 mechs destroyed. The Killer Bunnies, however, were slightly better with 1 win, 3 losses, no ties, facing off against 55th Shadow, Executive Outcomes, 1st Clovis Lancers, and Merrick Marauders, inflicting 3 casualties while taking 9 in return. The Bunnies' lone win came in Week 3 against the league-leading 55th Shadow Division, sparing the league from having to endure any talk of an undefeated Northern Barbarian, blah, 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 blah. They came down, they ran roughshod. But one of the ladies managed to take him out.
Now, while the Ronin feature several devastating mechs, the mech to watch is their Atlas, the AS-7K. And I bring a quote from history. A mech as powerful as possible, as impenetrable as possible, and as ugly and foreboding as conceivable, so that fear itself will be its ally, the great General Alexander Kerensky. This mech has proven very adept at moving up and down hills with a surprising ease for an assault mech. You'd think this pilot was from Steiner Space with how well he makes this thing dance. And also, he seems to take a personal attention to going after one particular mech. I don't know if he just got a dislike of it or he just got a bad attitude. Now, this Atlas is specialized long-range assailant. Pair of ER large lasers, a Gauss rifle, and an LRM-20. This mech can reach out and bring the bad touch to its opponents at huge ranges. 304 points of armor. This thing is another walking pillbox. It can take a beating and have enough armor to protect that XL engine that gives it its movement abilities.
The nastiest mech in the arsenal of the Killer Bunnies is the dreaded Dragonfire 3F. This one has been upgraded with the Mountaineer skill and Personal Vendetta, mimicking the Ronin's Atlas. The Dragonfire bristles with weaponry, mounting a gauze rifle, large laser, and an LB-10X with a pair of medium pulse lasers. Over the course of the League, more than one enemy mech has been on the receiving end of a lethal slug of cranial cavity creation, oh my god, from this fearsome draconic creature. We either have to start paying these guys in weed to slow them down a little bit, or we need to start actually hiring real writers. That is a mouthful. Despite only weighing in at 75 tons, the Dragonfire is covered by the maximum armor possible to enwrap that vulnerable XL engine in a scaly layer of protection.
Statistically, both of these teams lost very few mechs throughout the season. Simultaneously, though, they also struggled to produce a vast number of kills, only topping more than 2 kills for one battle during the season between the two stables. The Killer Bunnies were also one of only 2 teams that did not have a tie throughout the regular season. Expect a tightly contested defensive and low-scoring affair when these 2 teams clash.
So we have mother versus son. Yeah, I'm not getting in this one. I'm not going to predict this one. I'm not going to predict a weapon between a mother and their son. I'm out. Bad karma, bad juju.
Meh. Who cares about juju? My prediction, I'm actually going to give this one to Alex. I think that his play style and the size of the weapons that he's throwing out are going to catch the speedy mechs of the Killer Bunnies and drop them before they can do a whole lot. I'm going to suspect we're going to see a 2-1 victory for the Crimson Ronin.
Oh man, I'm just happy this game is going down. I think the Crimson Ronin are going to pull out a win here. He's just a little luckier than his mother in this match. It's totally going to be tight. It's going to really play out in how long the game goes. The shorter it is, the better chance that the Ronin have to get going. They've both grown so much over the season. The Ronin originally was easily spooked and would then pull back. He no longer makes that mistake. He is ready to rush in and engage and just throw down, beat down. His mother, the Killer Bunnies, however, is originally too eager to rush in. She has now learned how to better balance advancing, engaging, versus bouncing around all over the place. If it goes more than 10 rounds, Bunny's got it. If it's 10 rounds or less, the Crimson Ronin are going to take it. Either way, I am super happy to watch this. It's going to be a 2-3 finish.
Really look forward to seeing everybody there on Sunday. Even if you're out of the playoffs, please come in and join us. You have matches to play. You still have prizes to win. Not only that, you really want to witness some of these games. We're getting down to the players who really know what they're doing, as well as players who are really starting to stretch their skills out and learn to grasp victory in situations where they normally would lose. Good luck, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you on the weekend, Jeff. That's if you don't have an unsightly accident on the way into the den.
Well, that wasn't ominous, was it, listeners? You know, people who know what they're doing, Lee, you're definitely not talking about yourself for the Clan Cobra chickens. That's definitely not out of that. Well, mech fans, that wraps it up on another episode of our glorious podcast. Thank you again for listening, putting up with our malfeasance, and we hope to see you again down at the fights on this Sunday. Have yourselves a good weekend, good week. Keep your head on a swivel and stay safe.
2 games to go, then our wrap up, and it will be looking out for next season. Lots of talk so far about that, lots of people showing interest, and we're looking forward for as much feedback as we can get towards that. Very thankful and excited that everyone has been able to participate this year. Excited that the people are looking to participate next year. And we're super happy about all of our supporters and viewers on YouTube. Like, subscribe, smash that notification bell. We appreciate you all and would not be able to do this without our viewers. Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night and lights out.